As Prime Minister Justin Trudeau follows in his father's footsteps by invoking the Emergencies Act to clear out border blockades, Alberta RCMP revealed they've arrested 11 people after discovering a stash of weapons. Despite that, Premier Kenney says the Prime Minister's overreaching approach isn't necessary.
And I am concerned that there's a certain kind of person who will hear if the federal government proceeds with this, who will be further inflamed.
Alberta's premier arguing the province is more than capable of handling border blockades on its own despite the arrests in Coutts. In fact, the premier suggests it should be an eye-opener for the remaining protesters.
Time to go home, right now.
But despite the premier trying to quell blockades in the face of federal powers being invoked to end them, Kenney told protesters Monday to direct their anger elsewhere.
You've got the NDP's Alberta Federation of Labour in court as we speak, trying to get a judge to force 6-year-olds to wear masks indefinitely. If you want to protest something, go down to the AFL headquarters and protest that.
The head of Alberta's Federation of Labour, who are launching a court case to have the mask mandate extended in schools, believes that is a threat from the premier.
He's dog whistling to the most aggressive elements of the the so-called Freedom Convoy crowd. I think it says a lot more about the premier and his desperation of his declining political fortunes, but also his willingness to be essentially a political thug and bully himself.
Alberta's opposition NDP adding the premier is just playing catch up to what they've been proposing for weeks.
This is why we've been proposing things like an injunction early on. Then we also said take away the commercial licenses for people who are breaking the law at the border.
In Edmonton, Darcy Ropchan, City News.